Honkai Star Rail version 3.4 will be released in a few days. Interestingly, based on the information we saw in a special program a few days ago, there will be 9 characters that we can obtain in the upcoming version 3.4. These characters are Phainon, Tribbie, Sparkle, Sunday, Firefly, Jingliu, Blade, and the collaboration characters Saber and Archer. With so many banner options in this version, many of us, especially new players, are likely struggling to decide which characters to obtain in the upcoming 3.4 version, right? So without further ado, I'm Hoyostation, and we will dive straight into the gacha recommendations for version 3.4. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here's a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Alright, now we are going to move on to the most anticipated part, which is the discussion about the characters that will appear in the upcoming version 3.4. The first one we will discuss is Phainon, a DPS with the Destruction Path who is predicted to be the top DPS in the upcoming version. Phainon is a physical type character with the Destruction Path, featuring a unique mechanic through his ultimate ability that allows him to fight alone on the battlefield. There are a few key points you should know about Phainon. First, Phainon can deal extremely deadly attacks when he transforms through his ultimate ability. Second, you must bring characters that can provide buffs to teammates, such as Sunday, Bronya, or RMC, as Phainon must be the target of teammates' abilities to obtain a special point called Core Flame. When Core Flame reaches 12 points, Phainon can use his ultimate ability to transform and cause all teammates to leave the battle, leaving only Phainon alone. Additionally, in this ultimate mode, Phainon creates a territory that inflicts physical weakness on enemies. Furthermore, Phainon has a special turn lasting 8 turns, where on the 8th turn, he immediately deals a fatal final hit to all enemies, ending the territory and transformation mode. So is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Why? Well, overall, this character is a DPS with deadly damage and can use several free-to-play options like Bronya, RMC, and even 4-star Tingyun. So he's a perfect character for new players who still don't have many options. A little discussion about his signature lightcone named Thus Burns the Dawn. The effect provided by this lightcone is excellent, and I highly recommend you take it if you plan to maximize Phainon's kit in the upcoming version. The base speed boost from this lightcone is excellent for Phainon, as when he transforms, he has a special turn with his own speed, and this speed can only be increased through Phainon's base speed. Therefore, the speed boost from this lightcone will automatically increase his speed when he transforms. Additionally, the damage boost provided by this lightcone is substantial, reaching 60%, which significantly impacts his damage output. While other lightcones like On the Fall of an Eon can still be used, this lightcone offers far superior effects. For the next character, we will discuss Sunday, who finally received his first rerun after his release at the end of version 2, specifically in version 2.7. Sunday is a character with the imaginary type and harmony path, and he remains one of the top support characters in Honkai Star Rail to this day. The reason is quite simple. He has a wide variety of buffs, such as increased critical rate, increased damage, plus 100% action advance boost to one teammate through his skill. Additionally, his ultimate ability can recharge one teammate's energy and increase their critical damage. Furthermore, he can provide a larger damage percentage buff if his teammates has a summon or memo sprite, such as Jingyuan, Aglaya, and Castries. I give him a 9 out of 10. In my personal opinion, this character is definitely worth picking up in this version, guys. Overall, this character is a support character that remains highly influential in the current meta, where as we know, Sunday provides numerous buffs that are extremely useful for various hyper-carry DPS characters. For new players, I highly recommend obtaining this character due to his exceptionally high value. A brief discussion about his signature icon named a Grounded Ascent. I highly recommend you take this icon because its effects are too good to miss. The energy boost from this icon will be very useful for allowing him to cast his ultimate at least once every 3 turns due to its high energy regeneration effect. Additionally, the 1 skill point recovery effect from this icon is also very useful in certain situations, especially for teams that heavily rely on skill points, such as Dan Heng Il team. Furthermore, this icon is quite flexible and can be used by another supports like Sparkle or Bronya. Next, we will discuss Tribbie, which was recently released in version 3.1. Tribbie is a character with the Quantum type and Harmony path, which automatically grants buffs to teammates. Despite being a Harmony character, she can deal follow-up attacks to all enemies with significant damage after teammates activate their ultimate ability. An interesting aspect is that Tribbie has a relatively low maximum energy of 120 points, allowing us to easily reset her follow-up attacks. One of the standout features of her kit is her ultimate ability, which deals damage to all enemies and creates a field that increases enemy damage taken by 30%. Additionally, her skill grants a buff called Luminosity, which increases all type resistant penetration for teammates by 24%. This effect is particularly useful when facing enemies that are not weak to the type of your DPS unit. So, is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it a 9 out of 10. Overall, this character is a support character that can provide buffs while also contributing significant damage as a support character, guys. Additionally, the flexibility of the buffs provided makes Tribbie compatible with nearly all top-tier DPS in the current meta, such as Caceres, Mighty, Dirta, and even enhances the value of DPS that received a revamp in version 3.4, namely Blade and Jingliu. A quick note about her signature icon named If Time Were a Flower. The effect of this icon allows Tribbie to deal significantly better damage output, as it increases both her own critical damage and the critical damage of her teammates by a massive amount, guys. However, if you don't plan on taking this icon, you can replace it with another icon that has a decent effect, namely Dance Dance Dance, which offers an increase in action advance when using the ultimate. The next rerun character who also has the Harmony path is none other than Sparkle. As we know, Sparkle is a character with the Quantum type and the Harmony path. One of Sparkle's signature kits is her ability to grant additional skill points through her ultimate, making this kit highly useful when paired with characters that consume a lot of SP, such as Dan Heng Il. Additionally, she has the ability to grant action advance to team members. While the advance forward provided isn't as significant as 100% like Sunday or Bronya, the critical damage boost given by Sparkle has a higher percentage compared to Sunday and Bronya. So, is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it a 7 out of 10. The main reason is that Sparkle is one of the support characters that are relatively rarely used in the current meta. However, the strongest reason why Hoyoverse placed Sparkle's banner in this version is to ensure that Archer you obtain in the future can be used to its full potential. As we know, Archer himself requires a significant amount of skill points to maximize his skills. Thus, the presence of Sparkle will significantly enhance Archer's kit. Regarding her signature icon named Earthly Escapade, the effects of this icon are quite good and very flexible for use by other Harmony characters. This icon provides additional critical damage for the user and increases critical rate and critical damage for other team members when the special buff named Max is active. The method to activate this buff is also quite simple, guys, meaning this icon can be applied to other characters. Alright, now we are going to discuss one of the newest characters that will also be released in the upcoming version 3.4. Yep, who else but Saber, who has the Wind type with the Destruction path. Saber has a kit that is no less interesting than other characters, as she can store special energy that she can use to unleash her ultimate, which currently has the highest energy cost at 360 points. But don't worry, guys, despite Saber's extremely high energy cost, she has a unique energy recharge mechanism through core resonance, which she can obtain when she attacks or when her teammates unleash their ultimate moves. This core resonance has no limit and can continue to accumulate until Saber has enough energy to unleash her ultimate move. One of the key points of this character is her ultimate ability named Excalibur, which deals lethal damage to all enemies and enhances basic attacks, allowing her to deal significant damage to all enemies. The damage from her enhanced basic attack depends on the number of enemies on the field. The fewer enemies, the greater the damage dealt. So, is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Overall, this character is a DPS character with damage that rivals Phainon, doesn't require dedicated support to function well, and her value will increase further since she is a collaboration character that won't be rerun in the future. This character is also very beginner friendly, as she has a significant critical rate boost of around 30% through her kit. So you don't need to focus too much on critical rate stats and can instead prioritize stats like critical damage, attack, and also speed. A brief discussion about her signature lightcone named a Thankless Coronation. I highly recommend taking this lightcone if you plan to obtain Saber in version 3.4. The critical damage and attack boost effects will be extremely useful for Saber, who serves as the main DPS role. Additionally, this lightcone's effect provides extra energy to the user, so it will greatly assist Saber in managing her massive energy pool. In addition to Saber, there is one more collaboration character that will also be released alongside Saber in the upcoming version 3.4. And even more excitingly, we can obtain this character for free simply by logging in during a specific time period. Who else but Archer, character with the Quantum type with the Hunt path. Yes, Archer is the first male character to have the Quantum type and undoubtedly has a kit that is just as unique, even though this character is given to us for free. One of the unique aspects of this character is that he can deal extremely high damage to single enemy using his skill called Calipok 2, Fake Spiral Sword. This skill can be used up to 5 times in a single turn, consuming 2 skill points each time it's activated, making it highly compatible with support characters like Sparkle, who can provide additional skill points through her ultimate ability. Overall, this character is solid, and even as a free character, it's very good. However, I don't see a strong reason to obtain his Idol again in the next banner, as its Idol 0 alone is already solid enough to use. Therefore, I give it a gacha recommendation score of 7 out of 10, or only take it if you truly love this character. A brief discussion about his signature lightcone named the Hell Where Ideals Burn. This lightcone is highly compatible with Archer, as it can increase the maximum limit of skill points by 2 points, bringing the total to 7 skill points. I highly recommend obtaining this lightcone, as it is not only limited but also provides a very high critical rate stat along with a massive attack boost, reaching 80% at its highest stack. Alright, now we will move on to the second phase rerun, which is Firefly, a fire-type character with the Destruction path. A quick overview of Firefly's kit. She is a character who can unleash a super break attack in a blast when she activates her ultimate ability. Firefly Type 4, Complete Combustion. Additionally, she is a super break DPS character who can have her own turn when activating her ultimate and can deal massive damage when enemies enter the weakness break status. Another interesting aspect of Firefly is that she is one of the best DPS characters of her time, as she can deal massive damage and easily defeat elite enemies or bosses. Additionally, she has the ability to apply weakness implants to enemies, making her versatile in various battle conditions. So, is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it a 7 out of 10. While overall this character is a DPS with decent damage output, her biggest drawback is that she requires certain mandatory support units to fully utilize her kit. Furthermore, if you don't have Fuke, you will have to give up using Remembrance main character in your team and switch to Harmony main character specifically to run this team alone. Additionally, Firefly's damage is now relatively low compared to DPS characters like Zerta, Mighty, and Gasris, who are the latest DPS characters in this version 3. Oh yeah, if you plan to take this character, I also recommend taking her signature lightcone named Whereabouts Should Dreams Rest. The effect of this lightcone is very suitable for Firefly because she requires a high break effect to maximize the damage she deals. However, instead of getting her signature icon, I recommend you get Idol 1 first, because in Idol 1, she does not consume skill points when using skills in ultimate mode, making her much more flexible to use. The next character to receive a rerun in the upcoming 3.4 version is none other than Jingliu, who has just undergone a revamp of her kit. She has received changes where she now scales based on her maximum HP rather than her attack. Additionally, the latest version of Jingliu can now obtain CCG stacks more easily, as every 20 times a teammate's HP decreases, she gains an extra CCG stack, keeping her almost constantly in the spectral transmigration state. This enhances her skills to deal lethal attacks on enemies. Furthermore, every time Jingliu reduces her teammate's HP, she also gains a critical damage boost of up to 220% at maximum stacks, which is undoubtedly a great buff and revamp for her. So is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it a 7 out of 10. Although Jingliu received a revamped kit in this version, she is not a top priority to pick up. Why? Although this character is a DPS character with a significant damage output, she still has weaknesses. The total damage she deals in some existing showcase videos is not sufficient to defeat the latest enemies in this meta quickly, unless paired with proper support characters. Therefore, I recommend you choose newer characters like Phainon or characters from the collaboration banner, which can deal high damage and don't require dedicated support like other characters. Alright, the last rerun character, who is also an old character receiving a buff and revamp from Hoyoverse, is none other than Blade. As we know, the original version of Blade was already confirmed to be unusable for endgame content in the latest meta. The main reason is that the damage he deals is too low, making the completion time for endgame content like Memory of Chaos extremely long. However, in the upcoming 3.4 version, Blade will also receive a significant buff, particularly in terms of damage output, which has increased drastically compared to the original version. Regarding his scaling kit, in the original version, Blade had double scaling on maximum HP and attack, which made us a bit confused about whether to focus his stats on HP or attack. In this buffed version, he now has full scaling on maximum HP, allowing us to focus on just one main stat. Additionally, after Blade uses his skill named Hellscape, it increases the likelihood of him becoming the enemy's target, triggering his follow-up attack talent more frequently. Furthermore, his follow-up attack also gains additional energy through his trace named Cyclone of Destruction, automatically making his ultimate ability charge faster. So, is this character worth picking up in version 3.4? I give it a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't necessarily recommend picking him up. Why? Well, overall, this character is a DPS character with significant damage output, and he can withstand deadly attacks from enemies thanks to his extremely high maximum HP. Additionally, the damage he deals is now quite high, and from some showcases, he can even complete Memory of Chaos much faster compared to the original version. However, keep in mind that Blade is already in the Rate of pool, which you can obtain if you lose the Rate of in the limited banner, so I don't recommend picking him up in the limited banner. Alright guys, that's all for this video. What do you think? Who will you choose in the upcoming version? Feel free to leave any comments down below, and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are just as cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.